Hello and welcome to another episode of the Business Spotlight series. My name is Claudia Thompson, and today I'm here with Clivina Wills from the Intrepid Explorer. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. And why don't you start with telling us who you are and what it is you do?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Clivina Wills, and I'm the founder and owner of the Intrepid Explorer. I started the Intrepid Explorer probably nearly 3 years ago now. And what we do is we've taken natural skincare and basically just given it a bit of a shake on the head. We are specifically for outdoorsy people. So we've got a lot of attention paid to what those sort of people need and what they generally use. The beauty industry is huge, as most people know, but there is a lot of very horrible things that are being used. I've seen it with my own skin, and basically I just wanted to strip back what everybody uses and make the most natural products that I could using natural ingredients and that are actually sustainable. We find there's a lot of waste in the beauty industry. And I'm talking more along the lines of the makeups and the mascaras and lipsticks that we all use. But even in your normal everyday creams, there's a lot of people who say you need this for your wrinkles and you need that to stop those fine lines and you need to improve your chin. And I'm trying to teach people that actually natural is the better way. We are all going to age. Yes, we would love to slow it down. But a lot of that actually comes more from diet than the creams you're putting on your skin. They do help. I'm not going to lie, they do help. But I think there's a lot. I get particularly funny when I see 18-year-olds having Botox put around their eyes because they're saying they don't want wrinkles. They don't know what a wrinkle is. And the ages seem to be getting younger and younger and younger. So I really just want to help people understand that actually good old soap and water does wonders for your skin, surprisingly. And the more you put on, the more you're going to have to put on in time. So the more natural you keep it for as long as possible, I think the better. But we must also understand in our own minds that it's a good thing to grow old gracefully. We don't really need all these plumpers and fillers, and we just need to love ourselves for who we are. So I qualified as an organic skincare formulator back in 2021 when the business I was working in had to close down because of COVID. And my mind was absolutely blown away by the natural ingredients that we have every day around us. And so many people don't know about them because the media is so good at telling us that we have to have this product and we have to have that product. And people forget that most of those products were actually formed from natural ingredients in the very first place back in the day. So I just want people to rewind the clock a little bit and say, well, actually, do you know what? That little dandelion that you see growing on your lawn that you hate so much is actually really good for you. And it can do so much for you. And that's what I'm all about and why the Intrepid Explorer was born, because I want people to explore these things and I want them to be intrepid about it. I don't want them to be scared to buck the trend and say to their friends, well, no, actually, I don't use that. I just use soap and water. And see where that takes us. Get these girls actually understanding the damage they're doing to their skin by these layers and layers of makeup that they're putting on. I chose the outdoor industry because I just love the people. They're so much more natural. There's nothing fake about them. They are who they are. And that's that. And they're comfortable in their own skins. And a lot of us need to be a lot more like that, I think. We need to be able to stand up for ourselves and say, no, I don't like that. Or, yes, I absolutely love that. and not have the fear of being judged for it. And yeah, they're just a really, really nice community. Even now, if you go for a walk in one of the parks on the National Trusts, or even the Stour Valley Way, I was out the other day, and you know, we were out walking our dogs, and every single person I passed, some were walking dogs, some weren't, some were just out for a stroll. Every single person I passed said hello. And I think 4 or 5 of them I actually stopped and had a chat with. Now, if you're walking around the streets of the city, you don't get that at all. You can feel very alone and very isolated, and social media is not helping us at all. We seem to be judging our self-worth on how many followers we have. And I just hate that. I absolutely hate it. I just want people to make real connections. It's so good for them. And the art of conversation, it just can do so much for you, you know? So these products that I've made with the explorer type people in mind, if they're carrying a backpack, my personal pet hate was every time I go out camping, I've got a toiletry bag, and it had my toothbrush, toothpaste, shampoo, conditioner, soap, you know, face cleansing wipes. And I just thought, no, because half the time when you go to campsites and whatever, there's nowhere to put your toiletry bag to begin with. And then you're digging in it, trying to get out the shampoo, which is a big bottle. And then you need the conditioner and then the soap. And it's just like, there's got to be a better way. So once I qualified, I decided I wanted a toiletry bag that was compact, lightweight, but would do everything I needed it to do. So when I started formulating, obviously all the ingredients I use are natural. And we have a byline from nature for nature, because obviously the people that I was looking towards, they would be the ones that were out there. And if we're taking your good old normal body wash from the supermarket, the chemicals that are in there are not necessarily good for nature. They're not good for the streams. They're not good for the flora and fauna. And there's a whole movement now, leave no trace, where people are actually realizing the damage they're doing. So I've made products that you can use in the streams or the rivers or the puddle you come across or wherever. You can obviously use it in your home shower as well. And it's good for you. You know, they're all natural. So my hair and body wash powder is actually quite a unique thing. And I do find when I'm out on shows, people are like, what are you talking about here? Why is it a powder? But a lot of people don't know that the body wash, your normal one that you buy from the supermarket, is actually 90% water. There's only 10% ingredients in there. So why are we carrying water to places where there is already water? It seemed like such a common question, but everybody was like, well, I didn't think of it like that, because we've always just used this. We've always just used the gel or the body wash. And I thought, no, there's a new way. I know I'm not the only company now producing powdered body wash. I'm not going to advertise for my competitors, but powder, why not powder? We wash our clothes with powder. We wash our dishes with powder. So why can't we wash our bodies? The biggest question I keep getting asked is, well, how can I use something for my body and my hair at the same time? You know, surely I need something different for my hair. Again, a lot of hair care products, when they are niching down to their target audiences, they're putting different ingredients in there to do different things. I mean, I've got very thin, fine hair, so I'm looking for volume. How are they going to make my hair volumized? Well, they put like waxes in it, just so it sticks, makes your hair stick out a little bit more and seem thicker. And my particular hair and body wash powder has been formulated to take into consideration the hair and the body. So not only do we have natural softeners in there to make sure your hair is lovely and conditioned, but it also makes your skin softer as well. So you feel like you're moisturized when you come out. And the beauty of it, being a powder, we can get a whole lot of washes in a tiny little tube. My little tube is 60 mils. It weighs a great 31 grams, but it will wash you a minimum of 100 times. Obviously,
Fantastic. So
depending on...
you clearly are very passionate about what you do. You've identified a niche, you spotted a need in the market, and you have a great ethos. Are there any other factors that you would attribute your growth to?
Talking to people, I guess. I don't tend to hide behind the screens a lot. I do like to be out there. I'm quite vocal. But I'm also a little bit rebellious, and I like to turn things on the head. I don't like to just go with status quo. I will challenge, but I'm not also afraid to ask the questions, which I think quite a few people find refreshing. Not in a bullish way, but if I don't understand, I will say, please explain, or tell me why you think like that, and because I'm interested in what different people think of different things. That's how I found that I could converse easily with a wide demographic of people, because everybody's got their own story and they like to tell it. And if you're willing to listen, wow, you learn a lot.
Yeah, you really do. And yeah, so if you or where do you see yourself in 5 years' time, and what advice could you give other business owners that are looking to grow?
In 5 years, well, I hope I've got a lot more than just 3 products by then. I am always looking for the next niche thing, the next place where I can make a difference. I think we all like to put our imprint on the world, and we all like to be recognized for something. So I tend to look at things very differently, and I don't just accept status quo. So in 5 years, I'm hoping a lot more people are obviously following the Intrepid, and that we have a wonderful community around us where people, a safe space, where people know that they are safe to talk and they are safe to have an opinion, because I might not agree with the opinion, but it doesn't mean it's wrong. They might not agree with mine, but that's what I believe. And I just want to create that safe space for people to actually air their voice. For new business owners, all I can say to you is shake it up a bit. Don't just follow the crowd. There is so much happening around the world, and take care of the world. Just go out there with your idea and explore it, experiment with it, talk to people about it. Whatever you do, don't just sit in a room and think, this is a brilliant idea, and throw lots of money at it and expect it to work, because it won't. You need to actually speak to your family, speak to your friends, and speak to people you don't know. Because I found, obviously family and friends are going to support you all the way. They're going to say, yeah, it's a great idea, it's a great idea. And it gives you a false sense of confidence. If you just went up to some random stranger on the street and said, I have this idea, what do you think about it? They're going to be very startled. But they'll certainly, hopefully, give you an honest opinion, because they won't know what you are looking for. They won't know the answer you're looking for. And that's where I found I got the best advice, was talk, as daunting and as scary as it was. They straight away turned around and said, well, yeah, that's a good idea. Or no, I really don't get it. I don't know why you want to change that, because we've got soap, we've got foam, we've got gel, we've got these wipes that you just, put a bit of water on. And so I don't think you'll have a place. But if you collect a few of those impressions, you will soon see whether your idea is a good one or not, and whether you can actually make a mark on where you want to make a mark. I mean, the world is huge. We have no idea. And it's actually quite scary.
It's very true. If you had to start again from square one in business, what would you do differently?
I would probably take a lot more courses and not wing it quite as much. It did cost me an awful lot of money just doing what I've actually just said not to do. And that's why I would, I've had quite a few businesses in different arenas and different areas, different markets, completely different markets. But I would also try and stick it out a bit longer, and just make sure that it's very, very clear that whatever you're doing is run its life cycle before you give up on it. Because changing niches is quite hard, and growing networks from the very beginning is also quite hard. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. And not all audiences will transfer from one to another.
Yeah.
Some will.
So grow your network, get help early on.
Yes.
So ask for help. Fantastic. And something that a lot of, especially new business owners, find difficult is financial management. What words of, I guess, encouragement have you got for them if they find the numbers a bit tricky?
Well, I'm originally from a financial background, so I'm quite lucky like that. That's where my training is. For new businesses, I would probably do a short course on it at least. You've got to understand the basics of financial management. You've got to understand how to do your costings, your margins, your markups, and the differences between them. I think a lot of new business owners get caught out in not doing their costing properly, and it will end up costing them in the long run. It's much easier to get the costing bang on and then set your price than it is to just throw a price out there and then suddenly start hiking the price up when you realize you haven't factored in the postage and you haven't factored in the delivery costs to you, and all those little things, they add up really, really quickly. And it's not just a case of I'm going to buy a book from the shop and I'm going to sell it for double the price. It's not that easy. But there is ways, and there's a lot of help out there. I mean, they even do budgets on Excel now. There's me showing my age. Just get a basic one. But if you really don't understand it, get help. Get somebody, an accountant or a coach or somebody who does know, and get them to do the basics with you. Again, because to fix those mistakes in the long run is more difficult.
Yeah. So as you said previously, less winging it and more knowing what to do or getting the right help in place where needed.
Yes, yeah.
And how, we all know as business owners, we're very busy people, but how do you personally balance the Clivina personal and Clivina in her work life? How do you balance the two?
I'm really lucky in that, well, especially now with Intrepid, and this is what I'm most excited about, is they're almost one. I love what I do. During the times when I was running my business when I had my son and he was younger, he's away at university now, so a lot more free time. Scheduling was my way. I would set very definite times of when things would have to happen by. It's very easy to say, I need to do this, and it sits on a piece of paper on your desk. and the next day goes, and the next day goes, and the next day goes, and it doesn't get done. So I found setting a schedule or a routine and sticking to that routine helps an awful lot. With my Intrepid Explorer business, it's going to be a bit different because I plan to be on the road a lot. I plan to be out camping a lot, and I plan to be outdoors a lot. So it's going to be a lot of mixing business with pleasure, with my personal life, all in the mix. But I'm okay with that, simply because it doesn't feel like work to me. But it is important that you take time for yourself and take a breather, even if it's just to go for a half-hour walk, because whilst you're doing that half-hour walk, instead of being bogged down, the amazing ideas that you need and the creativity that you need will come to you quite naturally. There's a saying that I was taught a long time ago: spend the first half hour of your morning working on your business and not in your business. And that saw me right for a very long time.
Yeah. And I can only sign that and say, yes, definitely. Working on the business is so important. And so often we get just dragged into working in the business because we're really good at our thing, insert thing here. But it's so important to take time out and look at strategy, planning, and so on. So thank you for mentioning that. What do you think are some common misconceptions that people have about running a business, and how do you usually address them?
I love this question. I've seen it happen so many times. As I mentioned, I used to run a cafe, and the amount of people that would come in and say, right, I'm starting my own business. Oh, why is that? Because I can take all the time I need and I can do things whenever I want. That is so far from the truth. It is unbelievable. Everybody thinks it's easy. You can do your own thing. They don't have to do the 9 to 5. They're going to have all the time they want. They can go on holiday when they want. You know, if they want to watch a movie at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they can. You know, well, the truth of it is that never happens. It never happens. You will find, especially in the early stages, when you're growing that business, you are going to probably be putting in more time and more effort than you ever did in a day job. It's handy if you've got small children at home, yes. But if you're spending all your time with the small children and not working on your business, you're not going to have a business. So that's where the routine comes into play. And that's where you've really got to be quite strict with yourself, because I take my hat off to all these people that after COVID had to work from home. I'm actually learning. I only started working from home at the beginning of January, and it's really hard. The first 2 weeks, well, my schedule was all over the place. But now I have my routine in place, and it's so much easier to be focused and to say, right, from this time to this time, I will be working on, say, my social media. And then from that time to that time, I need to be building blogs or writing newsletters or whatever I need to be doing, or looking at pricing or getting hold of customers or networking, whatever. But you've got to be quite disciplined. And yeah, those people that are doing this work from home, kudos to you.
Cool. Well, that was the last question, and it wraps up our interview. Thank you so much for your very honest insights. How can people find out more about you, or how can they get in touch?
Well, obviously, our website is theintrepidexplorer.co.uk. We're on both Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, which I don't know how to use yet. And we're just busy building a community, which you can find on our socials on Facebook or Instagram. called the Campfire Community, where I'm just inviting everybody that wants to join, that has an interest in outdoors, walking, cycling, hiking, nature, mental health, to join us. And I just really want to build a fun community where people can make friends and network and go for walks together or go down to the beach, or no one need be lonely, especially when there's a campfire. So I just want to gather everybody around the campfire. Let's just have the conversation.
Fantastic. And I hope this interview helped get a lot more people to join the community. It's great work that you do. And thank you so much for your time today.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Claudia.